Welcome back. As promised, let's get to talking about Motilal Oswal Financial Services in greater detail. Raamdeo Agrawal is chairman and co-founder of the company. He's joining us right now. Raamdeo, good afternoon. Great to have you with us here on the program. Congratulations. What can I say? Across businesses, it's been a very, very eventful year, FY24. Your share price performance is just astounding. I thought we just started the year and the stock is up 100% plus. Of course, I can't ask you to explain what's happening with the share. I can ask you about the business, so let's do that.
Yes.
The big jump in profits that we've seen, right?
Yes.
At the net level, there is basically you mark to market some of the assets that you hold. That's a single component. Could you explain that?
Yeah, I'll explain that. See, basically, Motilal Oswal is always about two things. One is the operating profit from the businesses, capital market businesses, all the segments, and there is a large treasury and there is a mark to market. So operating profit has grown by 60%. So that's quite a bit of performance in the Q4 to Q4, I'm saying. Operating profit is up by 60% quarter on quarter. Say Q4 operating profit is about 495 crores against comparable 298 crores. So that's the number to compare against 300 crores last year Q4, about 500 crores this year. So that's the number to compare. And then mark to market last year in this quarter, there was a mark down of about some 50-60 crores. Against that, we have about 300 crores of plus, and that makes it about 668 crores,
yes,
100 crores kind of PAT for this. But still, I think the overall performance, if you see quarter on quarter, it has been a sustained build-up across the year. So don't look at just one quarter. If you look at the total performance for the year, the operating performance, mark to market can be down or up because of the markets. That's not in anybody's control. But the operating performance, that has really shot up in this year. Our revenues, our profits, revenues have gone up by 33% from 3,800 to 5,000 crores operating revenue. And operating profit after tax has gone up from 1,100 crores to 1,550 crores. So that's the big change which has happened. And that momentum of capital market across the businesses, I'm saying, whether it is a broking, whether it is iBanking, wealth management, asset management, private equity, all over there is a good momentum, and it is continuing in the current year. So that is the thing to focus on. Mark to market can be anything, depending on what happens in the market.
Right. While capital market and all these businesses are doing extremely well, not just for your company, but you've also been a proponent of this theme as an investment theme going ahead for the next few years, given the sort of rise that we've seen in demat accounts, etc. The housing finance business, that hasn't grown as much this time around, and that's been one of those speed bumps for you over the last couple of years. What are your plans to increase or improve your performance here?
Yeah, so new management team has brand new management team has come in, and actually, if you look at the Q4 performance of housing finance, has been brilliant in terms of collection. I was more excited about the collection part of it. The disbursal has seen major pickup, and they have very aggressive plan for the next year. But yes, that is one quarter performance by the new management, and we hope that the performance momentum continues into the next year. So I think the drag which was there in housing finance company for last 2-3 years, I think that I hope we have got over the hump.
Okay, all right. Hi, sir. Good afternoon and good to see you in. Nigel on this side. I just want to ask you about the housing finance. On that arm, there was an IPO that was planned, I think, and the street was waiting for that. What's the update there?
No, at least on the board meeting, there was nothing about the housing finance.
But is that something that an IPO at some time you would like to do it, right? At what scale, at what time would you like to do it?
No, right now, since it is not there on the board, nothing is discussed. I'm not at liberty. Actually, there's no thinking right now, because we want to focus on getting momentum right, let the management team settle, and then we can. When you go public, you are inviting people, money from the public at large, that to at market price. So we have to be extremely responsible for when to take money, at what price to take money, whether to take at all. Because we can take all the risk of stabilizing a business, but I don't want to do the risk of stabilizing the business with the outside money, clearly.
Got it. No, that's fair enough. Now, could you tell us, so you said new management, right? Yesterday there was a release saying that there's new management team at the asset management side as well, the AMC side as well. HFC, you said there's a new management team. Is that the kind of a new, does that mark a bit of a shift, new direction for businesses? That is one. And second, could you tell us across capital markets, asset management and the housing finance, guide us for what FY25 may look like? Some numbers?
Yeah. So Prashant, I mean, first about the asset management company, they were the guys who were managing it. Just that Naveen was the overall leader over there. So he's a very critical resource, Naveen. We cannot afford to. I mean, we have a lot of more higher responsibility at a board level. So he has been pulled back at a board level, and Pratik Agrawal and other changes like Niket becoming Niket and Akhil, they're the guys who have been running the show. They have been just upgraded to the full leadership role from a slightly subdued leadership role. Now they have the full leadership role. So that's what has happened. But there's no change. Naveen will still from the board will oversee the operations here. So I would say that it is more of an upgradation and facelift at AMC level. But other business like housing finance, I think truly there is during 23-24, we have a completely new management, which are already installed 6-7 months back, and now they are kind of finding traction.
And guidance for 25?
Yeah.
Some guidance? Yeah.
Yeah. So, Prashant, I think if you see the deck, in fact, I was surprised to see the kind of build-up which is happening quarter on quarter in last 4 quarters. I mean, every single business is becoming bigger by the quarter. I mean, there's no seasonality. Every quarter, there is a quarter-on-quarter growth for last 4 quarters. And I see even the current quarter shaping up well. Right now, we have uncertainty of elections and global geopolitics you are seeing. So my sense is because the market is expanding, we have already talked about so many times about the retail equity revolution in India. And we are leading right from the front because we cater to almost 98% of the PIN codes and things like that. So I think that pressure is not only building the retail broking and asset management, but also it is having a much more wider second order effect in wealth creation in terms of private equity, iBanking, IPOs, foreign offering, block deals. I think everything to do with the capital market is happening, and there is a major shift from the fixed income deposits to the so-called financialization to asset management, mutual funds, and those kind of things. So we are at that we are the beneficiary of this major trend, and I see the Q1 or next 4 quarters at least should be tracking as well as what happened in last 4 quarters.
Okay, all right, got that. I think without going into numbers, that gives us a fair sense of what you're looking at. Now, since we have you, and with your permission, Raamdeo, we can maybe talk about markets a little bit, right? The numbers are done, and you talked about one big theme that you've been bullish on for a while, which is financialization, and you're very much part of it. So tell us, I mean, first of all, are elections a big deal? I mean, I remember talking to you before state elections, and you said that post the elections we will get a big rally. We got a big rally. November, December was truly a very large move. What's the sense now, where we stand?
I think not so much for people like us. Business goes on, the country story goes on. And I would think that 99% or 99.9% there is a continuity going to be, whether it is going to be 350, 400, 405. I mean, those are numbers, but I think the continuity is more important. And if the continuity is there in my mind, there is no change per se. But it's a big event for a lot of people, particularly for the foreigners. I mean, they own about 15, 17%, $750 billion worth of stocks they own. And they're all liquid, front-running, all the blue chips they own. So their opinion matters, and they will definitely, foreigners will definitely would not like to take the event risk. So they would come back. They would come back to India. Hopefully, they will revise their opinion about India because what they're selling today, maybe for a month or two, or maybe a quarter or something, they may come back and say that, okay, we join the forces and buy. And at that point of time, I think the trajectory of growth of the Sensex or Nifty would be somewhat interesting.
Okay. I just want to talk about Vodafone Idea as well, where you were one of the very large participants. What do you see there with Vodafone Idea? And I mean, of course, I'm assuming you expect to make a lot of money with that investment. But just talk us through what made you bet big there.
I would not like to get into stocks because it's controversial. I don't know whether they're buying, selling. I mean, you got to ask the fund manager and the Raamdeo Agrawal, who are the, he's CIO and now running the business. So they would be, they are the decision makers, and please speak to them. I mean, I don't want to get into details out there.
Okay, no, but there is repair in the sector. That much you would agree with this, right? I mean, that we can take. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I can make a statement, that is there's a fundamental shift that the ownership of the company is not anymore just a private sector, another multinational private sector or domestic private sector company. It is a government-owned company. So the behavior, I mean, and survival of that company is also almost granted. So, and the government authorities have gone on record saying that they want to see 3 viable companies in telecom. So I think a lot of action is awaited immediately after election in the sector. And that's why the sector itself is buoyant. Not only this company, but sector itself is buoyant. And in that context, the fund managers must have taken their own stance.
Right, Mr. Agrawal.
Just one more question, Raamdeo ji. I mean, I know you don't want to talk about stocks, right? But if I can sort of tempt you to weigh in on the... I mean, you've talked about this before, Zomato being a very big idea for you, and you expect this to be a very large company over the years. Swiggy's filed for an IPO. I mean, the issuance should come. This morning, Goldman Sachs put out a report saying that they see the value of Blinkit to be much higher, higher than Zomato itself, the food delivery business. Yeah. Just your thoughts on how this is going to evolve from here.
Yeah, I agree with that because I have seen it in my own house. The whole buying pattern of the groceries have changed. And in fact, I spoke to a lot of our assistants here, those who come to me while coming to CNBC and all. And they said that they use it so often. I mean, I was thinking that it's a discretionary, but actually for the girls who are working here, for them it is a basic necessity to support their parents and all. So I think it has a wider application as we go forward. And now they are talking about platform fees and things like. In fact, instead of giving discounts, they are talking about actually charging premium for the delivery. So I think it's just an evolving scenario. Customers are very happy with their services, and it's becoming larger, and the addressable opportunity is so big. So I think once they start making money, then I think some kind of a valuation will emerge, and I remain bullish on this entire concept.
Take that point, Mr. Agrawal. What was earlier an optionality has now become an important value driver for Zomato. Thank you so much for joining in, speaking beyond just your numbers, but wish you good luck for not only your investments, but for the company as well for the next 4 quarters. If the last 4 quarters trend is something to go by, you believe that the next 4 quarters will be good as well, with improved performance coming in your housing finance business. So that was Motilal Oswal. The stock doing well, has seen a big move already, good numbers coming in, continues to hold on to those gains. But as we move